Power was highly decentralized. It led to fragmented authority. Sometimes you would have conflicts between the lords. It would weaken the central authority of the king or the queen or whatever that parliamentary type government was. They often would have to stand down to whatever rise would come from the lords of those regions, and created a lot of issues, as we know. And serfs and peasants were often exploited. They lived under harsh conditions. Um, really, I mean, if you can think of any movie that you've seen, if you can think of things like Braveheart, if you've ever watched any of those shows, right? The Knight's Tale, or anything that's set in that kind of medieval period, the conditions weren't that great. The serfs had to give a large portion of whatever they produced, whatever their goods were, to the lord. They had limited personal freedoms, and often it would be the lords who would take those goods and take the cattle and take the sheep, and they would throw these lavish parties. Serfs weren't often invited to, and so they watched a lot of their hard work go to other people. And again, not a whole lot of personal freedom, not a whole lot that they could do about it. And the system was resistant to change and innovation. There's a lot of, the research says self-sufficient nature of manners discouraged trade and the adoption of new technologies. And so, sometimes you think about things like, at some point, when the catapult came into town, right? That was a new thing, and that was a big deal. Or the, the plow, or just think about some of the technologies that were higher tech than that. For us, we're like, yeah, that's Stone Age stuff. Well, there was a time where that was new and revolutionary, and sometimes those things were not welcome under the feudalism system, because the more innovation that you allow to come in, the more that you enable your serfs, or in that case, you could think of it maybe even as employees, to be able to make their jobs easier or more efficient. As the person in charge, that becomes a threat. You start to lose a little bit of authority. You start to lose your influence and your power, because they can simply turn around and upend whatever your system is. And that's where we had a lot of revolutions start under that system. So that's feudalism for you.